So some people were asking me like, do I need an email list? Do I need multiple social media handles and be everywhere? Do I need some sort of landing page and all of that stuff in order to make my first 10K? And I sort of reviewed a little bit of those actions and remembered what life was like when I was getting started. And honestly, you don't need a lot to get to that first 10K. When I started my LinkedIn, I had like under 1,000 followers. All I had was a LinkedIn handle, a Calendly link to book calls initially, and a Stripe link to handle the payments. No newsletter, no multiple handles on Instagram, Twitter, whatever. All of this sort of stuff came later. I didn't even have an email list. So the important thing to outline is those momentum drivers that you need to actually get through to people. And with LinkedIn or any social media platform that you have, you just have to have a content strategy in order to generate inbound leads that come your way, and a social selling strategy in order to get people to book those calls with you. So it's important to outline what those momentum drivers are. So when I was starting, it was essentially writing out 7 days of content, knowing that 2 or 3 of those days had a hand raiser where I would say, I'm open to work. If you want to work with me, you can just shoot me a DM. And then people naturally came through. The other side of it is sort of outlining that when you have a smaller audience, you might have to do a little bit more engagement and commenting on the platform to start your growth, maybe sort of share a story more often and spend more time on the platform. And then you can essentially get somebody to book a call and give them free advice in exchange for a testimonial. Once you have that testimonial, then you can talk about it, talk about what you did, and actually document that process. Think of it like sawdust, right? So when we have an IKEA table, for example, everybody markets to that IKEA table. We want to market from that IKEA table away into the audience. So what do I mean by that? We don't care about the table, we care about the carpenter who made that table. So what decisions did he make? What was his discovery call with the IKEA manager to extract requirements? Why did he throw away that piece of wood and choose the other one? In the process of like sawing the wood, sawdust would fall on the floor. So we want to collect the sawdust and talk about it. And people are naturally intrigued by demonstration, right? So think about those discovery calls you had, think about the execution and the deliverables that you sent, the tools that you use, and start talking about that publicly, because then it's like giving somebody a behind the scenes snapshot of what it's like working with you. So to sort of summarize, you need that one handle. You also need to send DMs to people that engage, try to get them on a call or through the DMs to offer a service. You could even use a Google Doc with that service. You can have inbounds coming from the content that you write and get people to come to you. And then once you get a client, you document all of the sawdust that comes in the process of you delivering that thing. And you can think of it, if it's a confidence thing, for example, you can charge low, get the testimonials, and then start gradually upping your price. But this is a long-term game. With, for example, Calendly and a Stripe link, you can get really far by offering a power hour consultation and then spinning up a program or a service or whatever it is. All of these things happen gradually by actually taking the action that you have and not worrying about fancy logos, fancy websites, going multi-platform, because where energy goes, energy flows. So you don't want to put your eggs in multiple baskets at the beginning. And one thing you should consider is like you talk about one problem to one audience with one offer on one platform. And the power of one comes through that execution, gaining that momentum and putting yourself out there. It's easier said than done, but actually putting in those reps is what causes the reaction and the growth and the monetization of what you do. So I hope that was useful for you today.